behind. And you take ya. Go, go, go. You pay them, yeah. Anywhere, actually anywhere. What they start my hustle soon. As soon as they bring, if you can't wait, they carry us through. As soon as they bring, give me pressure. As soon as they bring, give me pressure. Give me back for me, cool my temper. As soon as they bring, give me pressure. The break again, now what's up, stop. Somebody they steal and somebody they buy.
It's about musical. There are crimes in many places. In every community, you know, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take law in your hands for the real authority. That it can't take care of it. Crime Stopper here for us. Bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor. If you see a human target, and I mean you cheche. Do well for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, Old Man Sam Cyan.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us.
Yo, hello. I want to talk about violence. More violence is indiscriminate. It can happen for any reason and to anyone. Until we do something to stop the surge of vigilante-style justice in this country, none of us will be safe. My Liberia is Liberia of hope. In my Liberia, it is possible. Violence is not part or even death, as we are seeing recent months in several parts of Liberia, including Monrovia. Talk to people in your community about violence. Stand up against mob justice. Be a community hero. Liberia is all that we have. We must all unite to uphold the rule of law. This is Old Man Sam Cyan, your community crime fighting partner. Thanks for listening. This is Old Man Sam Cyan.
We want peace in Liberia. Peace in Monrovia. We want peace in Liberia.
Rabbi, why you taking?
I said, darling, you look so worried.
Charles, I'm worried because I don't know where to get stuff for my shop and restaurant.
Oh, come on, man. Haven't you heard about Exodus Best Price Store on Gurley Street and Smart Road Junction on the Old Road?
Oh, no, Charles. Tell me about it.
Exodus Best Price Store got everything for your shop and restaurant. And the good news is that they have reduced the prices of craft beer products and imported beverages. So to keep that graduation party, wedding reception, and whatever occasion jumping till the break of dawn, Exodus Best Price Store is that place for you.
Is that all?
No, they have for the first time introduced on the LIB market Buffalo Revive that comes with 4 different flavors: Cool Blue, Apple Kiwi, Full Red, and Fitness Orange. It's good for athlete and everyone. For wholesale and retail supply, call cell number 0770-617-575. Exodus Best Price Store on Gurley Street and the Old Road Smart Road Junction. We are your cheaper wholesale and retail store.
Exactly. When you want some more, I provide it. So start to talk.
Come on, say we're plenty. Chicken say, Bogoni Oko, it's a classic. Asuna Tepe, chicken say, Bogoni Oko, it's a classic.
Oh yes, let's say a pleasant warm welcome to another presentation of the program from the Pre-News, Tuesday, January 20, 2026. Wendell Nimna is my name, and I'm here with Esther Daku. Esther, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Wendell. Good morning to all of us. It's good to be here today.
All right, so that's it. Too many things to talk about with the limited time we have. And so we have in our studio today the Front Page Africa and the Daily Observer newspaper. Right. As a matter of fact, we have the hard copies in our studio this morning. And those of you who are watching, as usual, please drop a comment. It's always important when you are watching, you let us know where you are watching us from. So whether you are watching from Asia, some part of Africa, Europe, or America, please indicate that on our live field. So like I said, too many things with limited time. Let's run you through the stories before us this morning. And top stories, we will begin with Crime Watch, War Against the People. Stan accuses Bouaka government of weaponizing police and defending perpetrators of past atrocities, declares sustained civil disobedience. And stay on top stories from rejection to renewal. Dillon's Rehab Center restores hope and celebrates graduation of 25 women. And then lastly, turning the pause into a dialogue, implications of the U.S. visa suspension for Liberians. And we'll see the photograph of former Deputy Minister Elias Shinoin is right here on the side of this story. And let's get to this story on page 7. Very interesting. Let's see what the former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs is saying about the visa suspension. All right, so we trying to run to page 7 quickly. Page 7 has the story, and let's see whether we are there. All right, yes. Where is page 7? Page 7, where are you? Please, don't scream me, man. Page 7. Where is that story? Yes, I'm right there. I am right on it. It says, yes, since the recent indefinite pause in U.S. immigrant visa processing for Liberia, among 75 other countries, last week I have received multiple requests from both local and international journalists and policymakers seeking my perspective. I must first acknowledge that the U.S. visa restrictions have implications for the 74 affected countries. However, this measure is part of a reassessment of U.S. visa screening under the public charge rule. Affects only immigrant visas that lead to permanent residency, green cards, not tourist, student, or other temporary visas. American officials insist it is a temporary administrative pause, not a punitive travel ban. Nevertheless, many Liberians perceive it as a major setback, given our unique historical ties and long-standing friendly relations with the United States. For Liberians seeking immigration status, This suspension disrupts family reunifications and dashes the immediate hopes of diversity visa lottery winners who were on the cusp of immigrating. The announcement has understandably caused anxiety in our communities, both at home and in the diaspora, as families must now wait longer and uncertainty looms over planned migrations. Notwithstanding, it is important to note that Liberia is actively lavishing its diplomatic channels to address this issue. Our Ministry of Foreign Affairs has emphasized that this is an administrative pause and is engaging U.S. authorities for clarity on its duration and scope. Foreign Minister Sarah Beslow Nyanzi is leading high-level engagement with U.S. counterparts. Through these efforts, Liberia is reaffirming its commitment to cooperate on immigration matters. For example, by addressing concerns over visa overstays and ensuring compliance with U.S. immigration regulations. We are reminding our American friends of Liberia's historic partnership with the United States rooted in shared values and mutual interests. Our long-standing ties gave us a platform to advocate for a swift resolution or exemption, highlighting that Liberian immigrants have traditionally contributed positively in the U.S. and that our government is ready to work on any technical concerns. This diplomatic push is not just bilateral. We are also in solidarity with other affected nations, particularly our African neighbors. By constructively engaging the U.S., we aim to turn this pause into a dialogue, one that results in clearer, fairer visa procedures and preserves the hope of those who aspire to reunite with family or pursue opportunities in America. Well, I think because of time, we have to leave the story right there. Well, but grab a copy of the front page Africa newspaper, and those were the assertions made by former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Elias Shinoyan. And let's get to the front page again with more stories. Lawyer for alleged rape victim questions police exoneration of suspended Deputy Minister McGill, demanding transparency and credibility. Just a few weeks ago, police were asking me, can you get to your client to bring his daughter? They said they want to do another DNA. We need to know what went into the report. What came to the public is the summaries. I want to see a detailed report. Keeping it will create more doubt, and that would not be good for the image of the police. Councillor Tialonse Gonglo, the lawyer of the alleged rape victim. All right, so we will get a few lines of that story. Let's take a few lines from there. All right, let's quickly bring you a few lines from that story. The lawyer for a 14-year-old girl who alleges she was raped by a former deputy minister is challenging police findings that cleared him, calling the investigation incomplete and insufficiently transparent. Liberian police say telecommunications data, CCTV footage, and DNA results excluded Brian McGill from the alleged crime. Why the Ministry of Gender urged investigators to continue the case and identify the perpetrator. Rights advocates warn that closing the case without full disclosure risks undermining public trust as sexual violence cases continue to rise in Liberia. The lawyer for a 14-year-old girl who said she was raped by J. Brian McGill, a former senior Liberian government official, that cleared the man, deepening public debate over accountability and transparency in sexual violence cases involving powerful figures. Tiablon Gonglo, the veteran human rights lawyer and former presidential candidate who was representing the girl and her family, said the police conclusions were premature and lacked transparency. Gonglo said the police had only recently asked his client to return the child for additional DNA testing, a request, he said, undermined claims that the investigation was complete. Just a few weeks ago, police were asking me, can you get to your client to bring his daughter? Gonglo said, they said they want to do another DNA. He said he had formally requested the full investigation report, arguing that transparency would protect both the family and the credibility of the police. We need to know what went into the report, Gonglo told Front Page Africa and News Narrative. What came to the public is summaries. I want to see a detailed report. Keeping it will create more doubt, and that will not be good for the image of the police. Gregory Coleman, Liberia police chief, told a news conference Monday that the telecommunications and GPS data conclusively excluded Mr. McGill's presence at the alleged crime scene. CCTV footage did not support claims of his presence, said Coleman. DNA forensic results, which are now being received, exclude Mr. McGill as a contributor to biological material based on the totality of digital exonerated Mr. Bryant McGill from this investigation. Liberia has limited forensic DNA capacity and usually sends DNA for testing in the United States or Europe, Coleman confirmed. In his press conference that the DNA had been tested through international forensic partners, on Tuesday, J. Brian McGill himself addressed a press conference at his lawyer's office, maintaining that he had no contact with the girl and was not present at the location where the alleged rape occurred. I would not litigate this matter in the media, said McGill, but I will also not accept injustice or silence in the face of verified truth. He said he emphasized with the girl and her family and called for the arrest of whoever committed the crime. We pray sincerely that the perpetrator of this crime will be found and prosecuted, he said. Coleman said the police had not officially received such a request, but Gonglo provided Front Page Africa and New Narratives with a copy of the correspondence dated January 13, 2026, and signed for by INSP Faya at 12:36 hours. Coleman did not respond to follow-up questions asking for a response sent by WhatsApp. Human rights organizations have also raised concerns about the police conclusions. DNA results alone do not constitute a definitive conclusion in cases involving serious allegations of sexual violence, said Tolbert Thomas Jala Jr., Executive Director of the Fifth and Justice Network, in a statement. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. All right, so that's it there, folks. Let's take more stories. Our final story here on the Front Page Africa newspaper. Boaka's inner cycle splits over re-enacted Ports Regulatory Act. Lock-in ambivalence. Lock-in ambivalence is a question to this caption. Front Page Africa has reliably learned that the Minister of Justice, Councillor Oswald Twe, has again advised the president to veto the bill, arguing that lawmakers failed to adequately address the concerns raised in the initial veto. In contrast, the president's legal advisor, Councillor Buju Ben Keita, is reportedly leading a group within the executive that opposes another veto. A senior insider familiar with the matter told Front Page Africa that Keita is urging the president to fine-tune his position in a manner that will avoid alienating the legislature and prevent screening relations with legislative leaders backing the bill. And we see some of the top officials in government here are photographed under this caption. Let's take a few lines from the story and then we send controls to Esther to bring us the Daily Observer. Intense high-level deliberations are underway at the executive mansion as President Joseph Numa Boakai Sr. waits whether to veto again the re-enacted Liberia Sea and Inland Ports Regulatory Act, exposing the sharp divide within his inner cycle and placing the administration in a state of political legal ambivalence. Front Page Africa has reliably learned that senior officials are split over the fate of the legislation, which the president earlier vetoed over what he described as serious legal, constitutional, and regulatory deficiencies. Lawmakers subsequently reenacted the bill and forwarded it to the president for assent, setting the stage for a renewed confrontation between the executive and the legislature. Sources familiar with the discussion say Justice Minister and Attorney General Oswald Twe has again advised President Boakai to reject the bill, maintaining that lawmakers failed to cue the defects outlined in the president's original veto message. By contrast, the president's legal advisor, Buju Ben Keita, is reportedly urging caution, warning against another veto that could deepen tensions within the legislative leader determined to see the law enacted. A senior government source told Front Page Africa that Keita has encouraged the president to explore alternative responses that would avoid antagonizing the legislature and further screening executive-legislative relations. The executive mansion is yet to respond to the developing situation. Analysts say the eternal disagreement underscores a broader struggle within the administration as President Boakai balances strict legal objections against the political race of reopening a standoff with a legislature intent on pushing sweeping port reforms into law. What at stake? The disputed legislation comprises two interrelated measures: the Liberia Sea and Inland Ports Regulatory Authority Act of 2025 and the Liberia Sea and Inland Port Decentralization and Modernization Act of 2025. Taken together, the acts repealed the National Port Authority Act, dissolved the NPA, established 4 autonomous seaports in Monrovia, Buchanan, Greenville, and Harper, and create a new Liberia Sea and Inland Ports Regulatory Authority with broad oversight powers over port operations and maritime activities nationwide. The bills were introduced in the Senate by Grand Bassa County Senator and President pro tempore Yumble Kanga Lawrence and passed by both chambers before being forwarded to the president. Invoking Article 35 of the Constitution, President Boakai returned the bills to the legislature, warning that they were legally and operationally inseparable and that passing them without resolving fundamental defects will create fragmentation, uncertainty, and institutional instability in the maritime sector. Esther, I think because of time, we can stop here and then send controls to you.
Yeah, just before I go to the Daily Observer window, there's this information that was posted by Charles Yates. I don't know whether you know Charles Yates. He's from District 17, and he says there's an update. Zone 6 police station in Burrillville is investigating 7 men in connection to a gang rape sodomy of a 17-year-old boy. The victim is currently undergoing treatment at the JFK Medical Hospital. This happened in your district. I don't know whether there's a way we can get to the police and you know.
I live in District 17, but
happened yesterday. Yes.
Let's see. This is scary window. This is really scary. But let's see what's in the paper then. The Daily Observer, it says the top story here: the AML new deal, Debaco Senate splits as senators clutch. This is right here on the front page. We see the photograph of Bapolu County Senator Amara Conan and his Nima County counterpart Yan Tianwei are split over the passage of the AML near deal. And we'll take some lines, just a couple of lines, because I think you brought most of the story. So let's just take a few lines from. It says, as Liberia debates the Third Amendment of ArcelorMittal Liberia's Mineral Development Agreement, sharp divisions within the Senate expose deeper questions about accountability, resource, justice, and whether Africa's largest steel company has been a partner in development or a persistent liability to the Liberian Senate. ArcelorMittal Liberia has operated in Liberia since 2005, inheriting the once iconic iron ore facility in Yekepa and Nima County, devastated by years of civil war. The company's entry was widely hailed as a cornerstone of Liberia's post-war recovery, with exploitations of infrastructure, rehabilitation, employment, social services, and billions of investment. It says over the last 2 decades, AML has expanded mining operations, rehabilitated Yekepa-Bikana rail corridor, and exported millions of tons of iron ore. Yet, the company's relationship with national leadership and local Liberian has been marked by persistent controversy ranging from unmet social obligations to disputes over profits, environmental damage, and local inclusion. The Third Amendment to the MDA now, before the legislature, has reopened these unresolved questions, sparking what many now describe as the AML debacle. Senator Tianwei indicts AML at the center of the operation. That's the opposition. Is Nima County Yan Di Tuyen Cherian, whose county hosts the core of AML's mining operations. In an unusually blunt press briefing at the capital, Senator Tianwei accused the steel giant of systematic violations of its existing agreements and warned lawmakers against what he described as a rushed and dangerous deal. Why does the government need a new agreement if AML did not honor its important commitments? In the previous agreement, Tianwei asks pointedly, you invest US $3.5 billion in a country and then claim you have made no profit for 20 years, yet you are still here fighting for a new agreement. Our people live in perpetual poverty while our minerals are drained out. According to Senator Tianwei, AML representatives summoned under oath admitted to several breaches of the current MDA, including failure to construct promised schools, clinics, hospitals, roads, bridges, and to restore Yekepa to its pre-war condition. All of these things are in the old agreement, he said. They defaulted on them, yet the new agreement removes these obligations entirely. Allegations of lost billions of clever loopholes. One of the most explosive claims raised by Senator Tanwe concerns AML's of financial reporting, citing leaked documents from a London-based auditing firm. He alleged that the company has generated over US 4.7 billion in profit since 2007, none of which he claims has been repatriated to Liberia. The old Liberia at least US 1.2 to US 1.3 billion, he declared. The US 200 million signature fee they are boasting about is part of what they already owe us. But let's leave it there and see more stories. Waka Fred Lansing on sidelines of Guinea inauguration as multi-user rail policy moves ahead. That's the story there. Let's see here. Liberia permits dredge mine. This is uh, this is our country, though. This is what's happening. Let's see some lines. It says Liberia has introduced a permit for gold and diamond dredging, lifting a ban on the mining method associated with pollution. Meanwhile, that is exactly the opposite of what has been done in Ghana, where it's been outlawed. Both countries' actions come at a time of a new report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime that illegal mining poses a serious global threat. The report found that criminal gangs were seeking to gain control of gold mines in sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean, including Southeast Asia. Last year, Liberia introduced a permit for dredging to increase mining revenue. Small-scale gold and diamond mining miners can now pay US 1,500 for a dredge permit, and medium-scale miners US 10,000. The permit lifts the 2019 ban aimed at reforming Liberia's artisanal mining subsector. So far, no permit has been issued. Ghana, on the other hand, repealed a law last December to protect its forests and waterways from dredging and other forms of illicit mining. The 2022 law had allowed mining to protected forest reserves, exposing 89% of Ghana's forest reserves to mining. The repeal followed demonstrations that came from a state of emergency to combat dredging as Ghanaians play on it play on Gada Dam itself. President Joe Mahama, who made fighting Galamsey a campaign promise, had encouraged demonstrators to push Galamsey fight together, President Mahama said. But let's leave you here and look up more stories this morning from the paper. We have the Foreign Minister Yanti leads high-level economic diplomacy push as Liberia makes historic debut at World Economic Forum. This is also here on page 3. You grab a copy. Let's read our final story at the back page of the Daily Observer. Infrastructure, it says, the backbone of economic prosperity. Waka says at first post-war National Infrastructure Conference. Liberia first post-war National Infrastructure Conference held in Bombasset in Nema County has opened a critical national conversation about the country's future, one that places infrastructure at the heart of economic revival, social cohesion, and national rebranding. Officially opened by President Joseph Nema Boakai on Monday, January 19, 2026. The conference brought together senior government officials, international development partners, private sector actors, civil society organizations, and technical experts to confront a hard truth. Liberia's development ambitions cannot be realized without fixing its deep and persistent infrastructure defects. Held under the theme Rebranding and Rebuilding through Reconstruction, the conference reflects a growing consensus that Liberia stands at a defending juncture, poised either to leverage infrastructure as a catalyst for inclusive growth or to remain trapped in cycles of underdevelopment driven by poor connectivities, weak urban planning, and fragile service delivery systems. The country's infrastructure challenges are rooted in history. 14 years of civil war, uh, decimated roads, bridges, power system, public buildings, and water facilities. Subsequent shocks, including the Ebola epidemic and the COVID-19 pandemic, further expose structural weaknesses in health system, urban planning, and social infrastructure. While 2 decades of peace have brought stability and uh, in sentiment or instrumental recovery, the country still lags far behind regional peers in basic infrastructure provision. Despite its national resource wealth and youthful population, Liberia continues to struggle with unreliable electricity, poor road connectivity, limited access to safe drinking water and sanitation, low ICT penetration, and unplanned urban growth and minimal climate resilience infrastructure. These gaps have constrained productivity, discouraged investment, and deepened inequality between urban centers and rural communities. It is against the backdrop that the National Infrastructure Conference was convened not merely as a technical reform, but as a strategic platform to rethink how Liberia plans, build, and governs its infrastructure. Infrastructure as the backbone of economic prosperity, President Bouaka, in his keynote address, framed infrastructure not as a collection of physical assets, but as the foundation of national opportunity and confidence. Infrastructure is not just physical assets, the president said. Roads, bridges, energy, water systems, and public buildings are lifelines that shape opportunities, productivity, and national confidence. He acknowledged that decades of conflict left Liberia with deteriorated roads, unreliable electricity, decayed public buildings, and inadequate access to positive water and sanitation conditions that poses daily hardship on citizens and constrain economic growth. Quoting global leaders to underline the economic logic of infrastructure investment, Waka reminded participants that economists travel on infrastructure, echoing former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, the incited President John F. Kennedy's famous observation: American roads are now good because America is rich, but America is rich because America roads are good. For Liberia, the implication is clear. Infrastructure is not a consequence of prosperity, it is a precondition of it. Liberia infrastructure deficit roles are the center of crisis. So far, we know these are all the stories we have from the back pages of the Daily Observer. Let's send controls to you.
Thank you very much, Esther, for bringing us the Daily Observer. And so we are about to recap those stories we brought to you. Take our break. We'll come back. We're going to hear from our weather report man. He's going to give us the weather report just for today. Right? Because Tunis is going to be here every day giving us the weather report. So we're not going to run you through tomorrow weather report Thursday because we know we're going to have him here every day. So we're just going to bring you the weather report just for today, Tuesday. And Tunis is going to do that in few seconds. So let's recap those stories we brought you quickly and send controls to Suleiman Tunis. All right. The front page, Africa, these are the stories we brought you. People stand accuses Bouaka government of weaponizing police and defending perpetrators of past atrocities and declared sustained civil disobedience. And from rejection to renewal, Dillon's Rehab Center restores hope and celebrates graduation of 25 women. And lastly, for top stories, turning the pause into a dialogue, implications of the U.S. visa suspensions for Liberians. And these are the top stories. Let's get to the big ones. Lawyer for alleged rape victim questions. Police exoneration of suspended Deputy Minister McGill, demanding transparency and credibility. Just a few weeks ago, police were asking me, can you get to your client to bring his daughter? They said they want to do another DNA. We need to know what went into the report. What came to the public is the summaries. I want to see a detailed report. Keeping it will create more doubt, and that will not be good for the image of the police. Councilor Tialonse Gonglo, the lawyer of the alleged rape victim. And lastly, for Front Page Africa, Bwaka's inner cycle splits over reenacted Sports Regulatory Act. Lock-in ambivalence is the question mark to this caption. Front Page Africa has reliably learned that the Minister of Justice, Councilor Twe, has again advised the president to veto the bill, arguing that lawmakers failed to adequately address the concerns is in the initial. In contrast, the president's legal advisor, Buju Ben Keita, is reportedly leading a group within the executive that opposes another veto. A senior insider familiar with the matter told Front Page Africa that Keita is urging the president to fine-tune his position in a manner that will avoid alienating the legislature and prevent straining relations with the legislative leaders backing the bill. And that's the Front Page Africa, the Daily Observer, the AME, the AML New Deal debacle, Senate split as senators clash. Bwaka and Friedland seen on sidelines of Guinea inauguration as multi-user rail policy moves ahead. And Liberia permits dredge mining while Ghana outlaws it. And lastly, for the front page of the Daily Observer, that's Foreign Minister Nyanti leads high-level economic diplomacy push as Liberia makes historic debut at World Economic Forum. The back page, infrastructure, the backbone of economic prosperity. Waka says at first post-war National Infrastructure Conference. And that does it for the papers. Let's take our break quickly and come back and hear from Suleiman Tunis, the weather report man.
Rabbi, why you taking?
I said, darling, you look so worried.
Charles, I'm worried because I don't know where to get stuff for my shop and restaurant.
Oh, come on, man. Haven't you heard about Exeter's Best Price Store in Girl Street at Smart Road Junction on the...
Oh, no, Charles. Tell me about it.
Exeter's Best Price Store got everything for your shop and restaurant. And the good news is that they have reduced the prices of club beer products and imported beverages. So to keep that graduation party, wedding reception, and whatever occasion jumping till the break of dawn, Exeter's Best Price Store is that place for you.
Is that all?
No, they have for the first time introduced on the LIB market Buffalo Revive that comes with 4 different flavors. Cool Blue, Apple Kiwi, Flu Red, and Fitness Orange. It's good for athlete and everyone. For wholesale and retail supply, call 0770-617-575. Exeter's Best Price Store on Garland Street and the Old Road Smart Road Junction. We are your cheaper wholesale and retail store.
Exactly. When you want some more, I provide it. So we start to talk. Come on, so going to 20 pop. Put it to each key. We are living since we want peace in Liberia. Peace in Morocco.
Yo, hello. I want to talk about violence. More violence is indiscriminate. It can happen for any reason and to anyone. Until we do something to stop the surge of vigilante-side justice in this country, none of us will be safe. My Liberia is Liberia of hope. In my Liberia, it is possible. Violence is not part of my Liberia. Violence leads to property damage, injury, or even death, as we are seeing recent months in several parts of Liberia, including Monrovia. Talk to people in your community about violence. Stand up against mob justice. Be a community hero. Liberia is all that we have. We must all unite to uphold the rule of law. This is Old Man Sam Sanya, your community crime fighting partner. Thanks for listening. This is Old Man Sam Sanya.
Okay, folks, thanks for rejoining us. Let's now send controls to the U.S., where our man Suleiman Tunis and Leo Masaleh is posted. But we're going to hear from Tunis first, who is going to bring us the weather report for today. Tunis, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Mama Liberia. The weather report, the day is already gone anyways, after 12, so no need to give one-day weather report. And I think if that's the case, then no need for me to be just coming here to be giving weather report. Report is always like 2 or 3 or 4 or 1 week. That's what we do here. But you gotta look at the day, it's 12 o'clock already. So giving the weather report is not necessary. But let me give this one. Today weather report, you are about 82 degrees, cloudy. It's not going to be hot like previous days. It's going to be like, you're going to have a little bit of break. The sun will not be shining like it been shining a couple of days ago. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the same thing that happening today, repeat itself tomorrow. The sun going to hide from you for a little while. Same thing Thursday. So the few days, you're going to have a little break. And you're going to have a decent weather. It might rain though. It might rain in these few days. So expect some rain. Even before the day is over, expect rain tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday. You might expect rain in the morning, early morning. And then the rest of the day will be cloudy for you. You may not even see the sun anyway tomorrow. Same thing with Thursday. You may not see the sun. It's just going to be cloudy, a little bit look like want to rain, but it may not rain. But the sun will not be that hazy sun shining on your head, sweating, and humidity. It's not going to be like that. But it will be 84 degrees, looking like 90 degrees. So even though the sun not going to be hot, it's still going to be humid. Okay? So that's about it, your 3-day forecast. You have serious break this week. Definitely. The sun, you will not be too heavy sun like this past few days, the sun you've been experiencing. So take it from Freedom FM, the accurate weather reports that always come to you. Okay, this is your weatherman, Suleiman Hashim Tunis, coming to you live from Radio LRB here on Staten Island, New York with Freedom FM 87.9, the most listened to radio station in the nation capital. Stay put and let's enjoy the show. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Tunis, for the weather report. Thank you so much. Let's hear from you, Leo Masaleh. Good morning. Mr. Masaleh, good morning. Aliyu, are you there? Aliyu, are you there?
Aliyu sleeping. He probably going to work now.
Okay. So I think since we can get our man Aliyu, let me see again. Aliyu, are you there?
Yes, I was backstage.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much for responding to our call. It's good having you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, good morning, bro, Tunis. Good morning, Esther. Yes, good morning, Mama Liberia. Yes, I listened to all the reading, and what really caught my attention this morning, it had to do with this thing that happening in the country, the rape case involving Mr. McGill. This is something like I would like to learn this morning, or the police director and the justice ministry who's supposed to exonerate somebody from such a case. And I want to know if McGill was ever sent to court in this entire process. Because send the thing yesterday, I just seen Gregory Cuomo always coming with press briefing and thing, and presenting himself to be like a lawyer for Brian McGill. We never one day see, oh yeah, Brian McGill went to court today, and this was why his lawyer said, But all the time, Gregory Coleman having press conferences or presenting himself as to whether he's the legal attorney of Brian McGill. And to see him exonerating Brian McGill for this allegation, I want to know if that's a position. Because we've been seeing rape cases in the country. The moment somebody was accused of rape, you will be arrested, placed behind bars while they carry on investigation and other things. But Brian McGill had been in our country parading, passing around, and Gregory Coleman had been doing his work as a lawyer for him. You see? And where is it? Why is it today we cannot see this DNA or report? Like Councilor Gonglo is saying, I think this is something that they need to hand over to him too, because he's the lawyer for the defendant. You see, for you to just say, oh yeah, this man has been exonerated, we did DNA testing, we did phone tracking, we did this, we did that. We want to be hearing this thing, maybe for a lawyer to be coming and be telling all what is going on, where Brian McGill was placed behind by his lawyer should be coming to be giving you an update on this case. But today, the whole thing just went around, and like some of us said from the initial stage that this case was just going to be a dead case because of Brian McGill, his relationship and his position in this government. We knew this is how it was going to end up. For you to just come and exonerate this man or in this mind-boggling, I don't really know if this is the system in Liberia. Even though, like Gregory Coleman said, people were accused of rape and placed behind bars without investigation, which of course they tried to change the system. So if you're using Brian McGill case now to change the system in Liberia, that whenever people are being alleged of rape, they will have to make sure they do DNA, they do phone tracing, they contact the American embassy. If this is the standard they are setting, then no problem. So right now, Liberia will know that the standard has been changed, that when someone is alleged of rape, they are not just going to cover you and put you behind bars. They will have to contact the American embassy. They will have to do forensic. They will have to do DNA. And all of these things, full tracking will be done. Because this is why now the Unity Party government under President Boakai is teaching the whole issue of just taking people to prison or rape allegations. So if this is the system, no problem. But like Mr. Gonglo said, I think they will need to do another DNA. Just that our country, we heard under this administration, there is no DNA machine in the country. And during the previous administration, we knew DNA machine were in the country, but it had broken under this administration. They cannot spend 60 to 70,000 to buy a DNA machine, but they be able to spend millions and thousands of dollars for themselves. And lastly, Esther just brought something to your attention, even though it was not part of the reading, about 7 men gang raping a 17-year-old boy yesterday in District 17, and the victim is now undergoing treatment at JFA. These are some of the things. When things are happening, or people are politicizing it because of their political party affiliation, and without people being punished, this is what we'll see continuously happening in the country. The Brian McGill case, we saw what happened. It will encourage other people to start raping people's children in the country. Because they will say, oh yes, this man did it and nothing came from Allah, even though he was alleged. Okay, till today we can see if another DNA will be conducted and come up with another report. But because the way in which he was treated, other people, it will encourage them to do the same. This other man, Bill Jala, whatsoever, they said they were TD that gang rape and sudden murder of 15-year-old child, and we see today how the case is going. Yesterday again, another 17-year-old boy with 7 men. People are brave to do this thing because they know people are doing it and there is no precedent set. So this is not good for the country under a rescue government to be seeing this kind of horrible things, sodomization, increased rape of government officials and things in the country. I think this is something Mr. Boakai had to pay attention to. Even though you can listen to news, but I think you need to be asking the people what's happening in the country. Thank you.
Thank you there, Aliyu Masale. Thank you so much for your contribution. You know, I'm also hearing about, something scandalous at the Liberia Immigration Service involving the commissioner. All right. An insider told me that this guy, his administration is very bad. All right. He's collecting government taxes and, you know, uh, putting it into his own pockets. So we are getting that information about Elijah Rufus, who is the commissioner at the Liberia Immigration Service. Somebody, an insider, called me up and told me when I can support this with documentary evidence. So that's the country we find ourselves. You know, everybody just trying to enrich themselves overnight because you know there is no check and balance. You know, when you have a country being run in this form and manner, everybody will want to do their own thing, most especially when they are presidential appointees. You know, so the president said he had to listen to news and blah blah blah. You know, so I don't know what are some of the informations are reaching his desk because people he has is you know press secretary and all of that are supposed to be filling him with this kind of information. So I think the president needs to put his foot down. You know, he needs to put his foot down because these were the very things they campaigned for yesterday, they campaigned against for yesterday are the very things they are doing today. So that's the information that is coming out of the Liberia Immigration Service about the current commissioner, Elijah Rufus, about collecting government taxes and putting it into his own pockets. It's alleged this information is not yet confirmed, but you know, is from an insider. You know, when somebody from Freedom FM here come and say, "Oh, at Freedom FM, blah blah blah," that person would definitely believe it because the person that gave them the information is from Freedom FM. So you know, that's the country we find ourselves, Esther. Too many things happening, rape cases, people are raping our young girls, people are sodomizing our young boys.
I mean,
And you know, I don't know.
It's a shocking
Seven,
thing.
the first time we heard it was 3 men going over for 15-year-old boy. Now seven
Seven men.
men to a 17-year-old boy.
And when what I gathered is this kid went into a poro bush.
Mm.
You know, some of the poro bush right in Monrovia.
Yeah, I know that. Most
So,
of they got a lot of them in
mistakenly
Browville.
went there,
Uh,
did not know, some children can be roaming around.
mm,
They caught him and he was sodomized there by 7 men. That's what I heard.
Hmm.
Imagine.
wow.
So if that's true, it is really, 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 really
Too
sad.
bad. Too bad.
And this kind of thing should not be in the hands of the police right now. I mean, at that zone 6, I know is that zone 6?
Yeah,
Zone
Zone
6
6 is
police
in
depot,
Browville.
it should be brought to a central town because that is a huge, very huge case.
I'm sure that kids will be transferred
It should
because
be.
they don't have the jurisdiction to, you know, go through the matter.
And this thing happened yesterday.
When the
Wasn't today.
perpetrators are caught, you turn them over, charge them, and you send them to court.
Right.
But you see, in a country now, the other man, he and two accomplices raped two of his friends.
Mhm.
They raped the boy, and you saw the guy when he went to court. He was not even looking like somebody who, you know, had time for what the news was all about. He was just, you know, bull-ragging, bullshitting the people, laughing, no handcuffs, nothing.
Uh-huh.
No.
You see?
So, I mean, what kind of country is this, man?
But
How can
Esther, why
somebody
do
be
people
charged, you know, for, you know, rape, and then he went to court without being handcuffed? It's because of his connections.
yes,
This
that's what
man,
happened.
I'm told, has served 3 commissioner or director at the National Security Agency. He worked with former Salib. He also worked with Pearson, and then big hands. That's what they are telling us. Brian McGill case, you know, we haven't seen the DNA report. It has not been published. Nothing of such, but we've been told that Brian McGay has been exonerated. So it means that he was not, involved with the act.
Well,
That's what they're telling us.
how would this man be exonerated? Even like according to Gregory, this boy have been sodomized 3 times. I think that was November 29 and December 24th and January 1st. It was not that first
On
time
three
doing it.
different occasions.
Different occasions.
Yeah.
And
Three
this boy
different
was
occasions.
able to tell you that he was sodomized even in the male daughter room. And he described how the male daughter room is, even the male room, everything. All of these things were said. And this is why you saw him. He was just walking, laughing because these people they get wasting that time. This is a dead case. You can see from
And
his laughter. That's why it tells. You see.
And we were also told that the 2 other persons were identified from his page. The Peter Bond Jala guy. They say when they took his phone, took it to the little boy, he said, look at the people there on the man page.
And
you know anybody? Look at their faces, Google. You can remember any of them. So he said, yeah, one of them, yeah. Yeah, that one of them, yeah.
Yeah, so he pointed them out. But then, yes, what's conflicting in the whole thing? The people he pointed out, there's a journalist who interviewed this Bonchala guy, right? And according to what he said, Wendell, he said that the people the boy identified, there are people who don't even live in the country. Some of them haven't even been to Liberia since with Chalagan time.
Yes,
but then if that we're not going to listen to Bonjala telling us that these people have never been to the country. So the little airport trees.
Okay, Mr. Dimble. The airport can tell all that. Oh yeah, those people who send the left the country so we haven't seen them by yet. The airport can be the one to trace that. And Esther, you said something. How will people have a poorer society within the capital? You see, I think this thing should be done all the way in the bushes. But you can't say you will be having poorer society or in District 17. This and that's the capital. This thing we know when it comes to poorer society, it comes to Sundays. People they carry those things in the interior and not in the city. So how will people be having power society in the city while a child will play and ran into your bush and then you're sodomizing if that information is accurate? So the president had to do something about that.
Yeah,
these things are not good for our country.
If that is accurate,
yes.
Because this is just a social media conversation.
Yeah. So LEC now go back to their old ways.
I tell you,
LEC have gone back to their old ways. Just the other day, I listened to the managing director of LEC on the state radio, saying all kinds of rubbish. How the previous administration, there were days people couldn't get light. And all of that since his inception or since he took over the institution, you have seen the changes. What are those changes? We haven't seen any change since you took over as LEC managing director. Even the street lights you guys are putting up, they are very dim. Esther, I was just looking, Look, let me just advise the people, those of us who were using coal iron before, let us go back and make sure we find them and clean it up. Because we're coming back to go back to the days of coal iron. Because what LEC is on now, they are telling us that we are about to go back to the days of cold iron. So if you have a little cold iron, I stay have mine. I used it this morning. But I'm telling you something serious.
But definitely, you wouldn't leave your house without pressing. So
but Mr. Dimble, how will you say this? When you are the United Party government, what have you people done in 2 years? And the 2-year achievement of this government is stable electricity and water. Then because Julian Jala posted the city, and they insulted him enough about complaining that anything is going back again. You see?
Right now, they're doing the thing now like Christmas lights. So if you're not careful when you're leaving your homes, just make sure all your appliances
Oh,
are unplugged.
exactly. Yes.
Because you know what the guys are doing now, they are damaging people, appliances. I don't understand this country. All the big move these people are making,
Mm.
they don't know how to govern this country. I'm telling you. All the big move they were making, oh, when we can, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this. We're still going back to the days of coal iron now. You see some people when it comes to time when their clothes rumpled, don't ask them. Don't ask them. I had to manage this morning to use coal iron on my clothes. On this expensive shirt that I'm wearing, I had to put coal iron on it.
I'm sorry about that.
Look, when you are expensive, then we're not.
Yeah, because you expect me to take my quality shirt and put coal iron on it? Why the
But
coal I drop the coal I drop on the shirt? You
Mr.
see?
Nimble and Esther, I want to ask you a question. This government, the moment you talk about their achievement, what have they achieved that have impacted the lives of Liberia within 2 years? They tell you about stable electricity and running water. So I want to know. So because the people in Monserrado County, even if that was true, they have stable electricity and running water. So that means that the government had done well for the entire country. So Monserrado is just Monrovia or Liberia now.
Man.
Yeah, because why about those people named Grand Gillette, Nimakate, Grand Kueti, if they don't have stable electricity, they don't have water. But the government say that's their achievement. So those other people, they are not Liberian, or those places are not part of Liberia. Because that's the
What?
only thing they can brag about, stable electricity and water. And now Julia just said it, and now you saying the same thing, that we are going by. When people say we get stable electricity, let's wait. Let the dry season really set in, then we know that we have stable electricity. Because we know that hydro, when the water table go down, you will have to shut down all those gates. And later when the water rises, then you open the intake, then the water start to flow. That's how we did the work over there. So nothing they can be talking, and soon when sun shining, there's no electricity. When rain start to fall, you will say, oh yes. And these are some of the squandering that President Bwaka talk about. Because the money we use for the rehabilitation of Mount Coffee Hydro, it could build Liberia a brand new hydro that could serve almost 12 to 14 counties in the country. But they squandered that opportunity. These were some of the opportunities they squandered. That today, when there is rain, we get current. When there is no rain, we start struggling for electricity in the country. So that's it. Hello? Are you guys there? Probably like the station gone off. Can you guys hear me in the comment section? Can you guys hear me in the comment section? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
But I'll tell you about the current no this time now is very stable. When you see going, coming, they are doing some connection into Agent Levy. You know, if a serious issue last night, around 8:30, they left. They came out 10:30, 2 o'clock, they left. They came back 7:30 this morning, 8:30, they left, and they came back 9:30. For now, it's still here. You know what we're talking about? They did the kind of pussy on this thing. First time in the history of Nigeria. First time in the history of Nigeria. Here we are. During their time, they will go and stay under the light. Once current go, they do the darkness nature to both it. To appear as if the past government was not able to do the right thing for the Nigeria. But this is the situation that we are faced with. Because you are not capable, you have to, you never prepare Israel could have been able to help us. The one that we are depending on for the people country. We are not paying to be able to get the amount of current that we're supposed to get. So the other people the truth, when it comes to want to color everything, and then when you catch up with them, they start trying to shift things back to the CDC government. That is not correct. It's a serious challenge. And then the money rate issue. After the last time that the police RG of the United government will let go of Brian Magee, but the court of popular opinion will not allow Magee to go free. And thank God for Tiwan Gonglo and other institutions that are now calling the police RG to continue the case. Because that is not acceptable. Because if even he has the means to investigate, if not from the person liable to let them go, when you come to the rape issue, no. The rape law is telling us, when the hospital confirmed that actually there were beneficial, the individual should be beyond bar, why he or she hired their lawyer to go through the process. But in this Brian Magee issue, the police RG was serving as an investigator and serving as the legal counsel to Brian Magee.
Okay.
So it became whole water. So let me go back and do it properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Edmund. Let's talk to you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Pop Gentry G. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you, oh man. Yeah, I'm here, oh man. I'm grateful that I'm alive, and I'm so happy hearing from you too this afternoon.
Thank you. Let me tell you the reason of that man. You're calling Peter Bon Jana. It's not Bon. The man for me is Peter Bono Jana. Focus just the minister's son. You general administration. The Ghana Hall round here. The one they live, Peter Bono Jana living at that song. And Peter Bono Jana got another home from Johnson Road.
Yeah.
All the president the beginning the government is trying to cover up the whole secret. You remember that the fire cabinet building fire issue? If you can remember, the government arrested somebody who they suspected had been one of the guy that started building on fire. They been told that he was solo man at the NSA.
Yep.
That is aware that the man assignment. The government is aware of that man operation. Even the Prince Johnson man he's aware of that man operation. And what they are doing at NSA.
Also, the
name is Peter Bono Jana.
Also, his part of work is to,
The work is to Georgia and Solomon Iwo and NSA.
Okay.
Now, the government is aware of his operation, so they don't want to expose the true identity. The man is Peter Bono Jara Jr. Thank you.
Thank you, Pop Gentro G. Thank you very much. Let's talk to you. Hello?
Good morning, good morning to Esther Darling to Food, and good morning to Basale, and good morning to our weather report man, the chair expected, and calling for Nabati West.
1 minute, let's hear you, sir.
Thank you very much. The weather report is very accurate. There is no social media everything looking cool. Thank you very much for the report. And usually party people like to act like they're very smart, but they are not smart, they are very dull. When the curry period time when the rainy season, the curry was very stable, but so
Hello? Hello? Your line is terrible. Let's take this person. Hello? I'm fine. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Hello? Hello, caller, you there? Okay, let me take this person. Hello?
Hello, my son, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Masisi. Welcome to the show. Let's hear you quickly. No time.
You can have to get my son. It's that for. So, that never is that for I know Peter Boss, Bodo Jala. You want to do to put the outside and move. How is it to get? And I investigate anybody, or anybody carry that is there. They carry there. All the way to call Peter Boss Jala to put the train move. Now, only therefore, what is better is our land. Now go according to reality. So they tell you the telephone that in I get what is running party. So they tell you also the pool and the ball four. When you become not the post street. So I said to get what ball will let the document to all that public. And then the post all the property maker, and then about Tosado, I bought for me, then the cartel. So lot of poor. What if I want to do? The only property machine and then they damage all. You know, going for your book and out the outside. I thought we would go out against it. Just me, the only person who comes to power. If you go to do it against it, anybody else, no. Protest against it. So it was for everything. No quality then. So the people out with very power, but the people, they are what they were doing. I was trying to say, well, if any person will hold me, then I can't. You come in here and I have to power. Power that off. Don't come in there off.
Thank you, Masisi. Let's take this person. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, my name is Joe Smith, calling from Dugo Shark.
Go ahead, Joe. Let's hear you. You have a minute. Hello?
I think I'm a liar, you know? I understand a developed country needs a developed but not country like Nigeria. People are stuck in any other for themselves. They go around bringing people they try to open alley. But Joey was in power for how many years? No, even at that time, because you know that Nigeria is a struggling country. Well, Nigeria is struggling industry every time to get back together.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then you go around opening, go see. I mean, in the middle, from the party store to the party store, now you see that none of who's that been done. It's people who for the point, and investing with. I'm not regretting. The people that put you in a big person like investing with the house they are bringing. You say open the eyes. They got a country like this at this time. Open the eyes. You guys just get one thing and see it. No, man, I don't know why I feel that. We didn't like, but we can't do young people. We can't do education. For the school, you don't talk one and then to the police. We know what you can do.
Okay.
If you don't see what it's like, they will stand and do it.
Thank you. Thank you, Esther. Let's run through the comments quickly so we can go. Let's run through the comments. We ain't got more time.
Okay, we have Joshua Morris. He's watching from GSA Row. We have DJ Cousin. He says Emmanuel P. Leeway, DJ Cousin. I'm following from Johnsonville Township. 1501 block. We have Stephen Yakade. He says, good morning. I'm following from Cotton Tree, District 2, Lower Maigibi County. We have Henry Tito Jurion. Good morning, my Freedom FM family and our weather reports, man. Uncle Tunis, I'm watching from my residence in Caldwell. Thanks for the great information to our country, Liberia. Karim Kroma, he says, good morning, Wendell and Esther. Darling Daku, I'm fresh from Sierra Leone and watching you from my single 9th Street resident country. Thanks for watching. And we have Evan David says, good morning to you, Mr. Wendell Nene and Esther. Thanks for the great work. And Yvonne says, I'm watching from Canada. We have Sam Toby. He says, good morning, my Freedom FM family. I'm following from Minnesota, Brooklyn Park. We have Rocky Gakwala. He says, I'm watching from Rehe Field, downtown market behind Aqua Life Mineral Water Company. We have Stanley Sharif. He says, good morning to the peaceful citizens of Buhetan Kwakwa District, Grand Cape County, Western Liberia. I'm Stanley Sharif watching from Burrowville City. Thanks for the update. We have David Toll. He says, watching from the borough of Newtown. Stanley Sharif again says, big brother Wendell Nimne and my sister Esther. Let me say this to the peaceful citizens of Mama Liberia. All we need to do now is to reunite as one people to reject this unprepared President Bouaka and his hooligans officials come 2029. And we have Bobby Jada. He says, good afternoon to my Freedom FM family. I'm watching from my Satan residence this afternoon, brother. We have Gentre Martin. He's watching. He says LEC. And Stanley Bozes says, watching from my residence in the Congress City. I'm Stanley Bozes. And we have Gay Caesar Divine Grace Bison. Junior says, good morning. Good afternoon, guys. I'm following from Johnsonville, Better Town. These are all the comments we have with them.
Okay, so Aliyu, just takes a few seconds. Let's hear from you so we can go.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, thanks to the callers. It was a great show. And we hope and pray that Mr. Gonglo should follow the case to the end. Let that get justice. If there will be another DNA that will be conducted to prove Mr. McGill to be innocent, that's it. But we want the legal process to be followed and respected. Thank you. God bless America. God bless Liberia.